Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to the latest episode of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs. But first, we got to say, thoughts and prayers or whatever you believe in to all the people affected by the hurricane this past week. I've seen videos of like North Carolina and stuff like that. They got hit really, really bad. So we'd be remiss if we didn't say something for them. If you can help, please do that. If you can, at least give some good vibes to them.
Yeah, man. I've been like kind of out of the loop. I know what's going on a macro level, but I hadn't really got to see the devastation, like on a more micro level. And I was kind of in my own world out here in the Midwest. I know my parents' power got affected, but they didn't have any damage or anything. And I'm guessing you said North Carolina got hit the worst.
Yeah, like Asheville, tying it into wrestling, I've seen FTR Bald has been tweeting a lot about it. And my girlfriend sent me some stuff on TikTok about like dams breaking and houses being swept away and hundreds of people missing or dead. Like, and for whatever reason, it's not a big national story like it should be, I guess, because Asheville's such a small town. Like, they don't really give a fuck. They got other shit going on, like debates and whatnot. So just, sending good vibes to all those people, hoping they all pull through.
Has the devastation amounted more than like Katrina?
That I don't know. I couldn't answer that honestly. But it's been pretty. I haven't seen any videos like Katrina, but I've seen some videos where shit's getting washed away, man. Bridges, roads, cars, homes, like it's pretty bad out there for some people. My girlfriend's sister, excuse me, I don't even know if they got power back now yet, but they were saying over the weekend that they weren't getting power back until Monday, maybe Tuesday at the latest. So like some people are just without power, which, in the grand scheme of things isn't as bad, but there's some people that lost everything, man. Like it was pretty bad, the flooding.
Yes, like you said, some people lost their lives too, which is horrible. Didn't Georgia, it hit Georgia, some parts of Georgia pretty hard?
Yeah, it hit a couple places out here pretty bad, but nothing like what I've seen on TikTok and Instagram with like North Carolina and stuff like that. But it did hit some places of Georgia pretty bad. Just flooding and missing power. Like I don't think the loss of life was nearly as much as it is in North Carolina. So,
and then of course it didn't hit like the Panhandle pretty hard as well.
Yeah,
Florida. That's terrible. I mean, like you said, let's hope that everybody gets the help that they need as speedy as they can, because power, you need power to live.
And the shitty part is, since I'm traveling to Mexico Thursday night, I'm watching the weather, and there seems to be another storm developing out there in the Gulf.
Damn.
So yeah, but from all things we've read up until like a couple hours ago, it's supposed to be like thunder. It shouldn't connect like Voltron and turn into another fucking hurricane or tropical depression. It should just be some scattered heavy thunderstorms, which, in the grand scheme of things isn't that big a deal, but I am going to like Mexico for vacation, so that's gonna suck that it's gonna be raining the whole time, but it could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, I hope everything works out with your vacation. I mean, better. You want to be safe first and first and things first. That you want to be safe, but then you want to enjoy your vacation.
All that shit goes out the window once those fucking all-inclusive drinks start flowing. What? Let it rain.
Yeah.
Nah, it's I'm more worried about flying into a thunderstorm and like I hate when the plane's moving like side to side and shaking and shit. I hate being on a plane in general, but when there's turbulence or like wind and shit, like I am not a fucking fan of that. My worst fear, EJ, on an airplane besides crashing, is when you're coming in for the landing and shit goes wrong and you have to take back off. Like I am so terrified every time that's gonna happen to me.
I don't think has that happened to you yet?
No, but I've seen it, and I'm fucking terrified that it's gonna happen to me.
You know what? The thing about it is you don't have to worry about the turbulence. You just got to worry about the landing. The turbulence is what you shouldn't be worried about. It's the
Yeah, but
landing.
it doesn't feel good, especially when like you've taken a lot of flights. Normally, when you're on the plane, it doesn't even feel like you're moving that fast.
Nah.
Like you look down at the ground and the clouds and shit, and it's like, oh, we're just kind of coasting, but you're doing like 580, 600 miles an hour, right? But when you start going through those clouds and you look out and the clouds are just fucking whipping by you, you're like, oh my God, we're going too fucking fast. Like, we're going to crash. What are you going to crash into? There's nothing in the sky.
Another random thought. I think my sister pointed this out years and years ago. She's like, you could explain all the aerodynamics and physics to me. Like, it doesn't make sense something that big should be flying in the air like that. Something made out of metal.
I agree. I hate when people are like, oh, turbulence is like going over a speed bump when you're in your car. No, the fuck it's not. When I'm in my car, I'm not 3 miles above the fucking ground and I could crash down to it. Like, it's not the same as going over a speed bump. Shut up.
I mean, yeah, turbulence doesn't feel good at all. But like I said, probably be afraid more about the landing and the turbulence up there. But yeah, it doesn't feel good at all. Especially if you get some real terrible. I've only had like real terrible turbulence like maybe twice, where it feels like you're on a fucking roller coaster. Nah, you gotta literally hold on to shit. Like that's terrible. But it's Mother Nature for you.
Yep. Well, we got a lot to get to, EJ. We got to predict WWE Bad Blood, which is this weekend. We got we don't have to necessarily review AEW's special that they had last Wednesday. I can't think of the name of it. What was the name of it? Grand Slam.
Grand Slam.
Yeah, over in the tennis court. Power rankings. We got some news alerts. We got Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week. We got a lot of shit to get over, EJ. So I can't see your notes as usual because I'm filming with my phone. So I'll let you pick where you want to go. Choose your own adventure.
The Vince McMahon doc, man. Did you get a chance to watch all of it?
I haven't watched it all. I've watched 2 episodes of it, and my girlfriend comes downstairs while I'm watching it. And I don't know how you watch TV, but like when I see shit that I don't like, I express that. And she said, if you don't like anybody that they're showing, why are you watching this? Because Bruce Pritchard would come on. I'd be like, what a fucking liar. And then Hogan would come on. I'd be like, what a cocksucker. And then Vince would come on. I'd be like, what a piece of shit, this fucking guy. And then they got to talking about Benoit. And I was like, what a fucking loser this guy was. And she's just like, why are you watching this? I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. So you didn't watch all 6 parts?
Nah, I've only seen the first 2 of them.
I mean, what have you been hearing, like, as far as the interwebs and Twitter about it overall?
Vince is a piece of shit.
Okay, as far as, like, the actual content of it, of course, we all know Vince is a piece of shit.
I mean, it's a good, Netflix does well with their documentaries. Like, it's a good documentary. I thought it's crazy that they put in the very beginning of it, like, him having to walk away for a phone call, literally getting the phone call that all these sex allegations against him are hitting the fan while he's doing this, and he never came back to fucking finish filming. I thought that was wild.
That happened?
Yeah, at the very beginning of the first episode, they put a caption up there that tells you that, and then he like walks away with his cell phone. He walks away to answer the phone, and apparently he never came back. He also did at the very beginning. I wanted to screen cap it, and I haven't yet, but I'll probably still go back and do it. The first episode, he looks at the camera and says something. I can't remember what it was, and then he gives the camera this fucking look, and I was just like, "This nigga is the devil." Like the way he looked at the camera, he just looked so creepy and perverted, and like I can't even explain it to you. I'll have to go back and screen cap it and post it, but he just had this look where it was like, this motherfucker is pure evil.
I mean, I can't add more to what you just said. He is pretty much pure evil. But a lot of sentiment that I was getting, and I agree with it, it's like rehashing everything that we've seen in all of these documentaries in the past. So didn't really learn anything new. It was just basically, this is your life, Vince McMahon. And then shit hit the fan. They had to kind of like do a diversion and an audible or whatnot towards the end. Episode 6, you hadn't got there yet. But
I mean, it was new ways to say Hogan's a piece of shit. Like, learned some shit about Hogan that I didn't know, that he fucking lied during the steroid trial. Like, I never knew about all that. I'm sure it's out there about him fucking stooging off Jesse Ventura trying to start the union.
Oh yeah,
like, what a cocksucker.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. Looking for number one himself.
As usual, Hogan's a piece of fucking shit, man. Hogan was the biggest politician backstage. Then it turns out he was racist. And this is why, like, one of the reasons I can't stand him is because of Starrcade 97. Like, one of the wrestling only reasons was because of Starrcade 97. Him and Eric Bischoff can go on all these fucking podcasts and they can lie their asses off about, we didn't think Sting was ready and this, that, and the third. Y'all fucked that man over and you fucked up a whole company because you were jealous that Sting was bigger than you at the time. Hulkamania was huge in the late 80s, early 90s. But during the NWO run, Sting was way bigger than Hogan. He was way more over than Hogan. And Hogan was jealous.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was, because Sting was like the babyface and Hogan was the dastardly heel. So he was, more over than Hogan at that time. Crowds used to go crazy, even looking back at the episodes on WWE Network. So, of course it's jealousy, but he won't admit it. It wasn't the right time. Like, shut the hell up, man.
And then Bischoff fucking lying for him pisses me off all the time too. Like,
he made
just
him
tell
rich.
the fucking truth.
Hogan made Bischoff rich. Of course he's gonna lie with him and still be friends.
Man, it was 30 years ago. Bischoff ain't living off that money anymore. He's living off Conrad Thompson money now.
He still got WCW money if he was smart with it. He was the president at the time.
Yeah, but what can Hogan do to him now? Like,
some people have blind loyalty for some reason. Like, this man got me my fortune, so I'm gonna be loyal to him. But still, fuck all that. Fuck Hogan.
But Hogan lied during the documentary, and they fucking refuted his lies with like other people being like, I shot him up with steroids. Meanwhile, he's on the documentary like, yeah, I told the truth. I didn't do it. You're a fucking liar, dude. Like, sorry. This ain't a Hogan thing, but fuck Hulk Hogan.
And then, what was that? He went on Arsenio, and Vince told him to tell the truth. Motherfucker still lie.
I only did it once 3 years ago. Nigga, please.
Yeah. But one thing about the steroid thing, I feel like, of course, it's illegal. So if it's illegal, it's illegal. But I feel like people made a bigger deal of it than it should have been. I feel like because steroids were legal in the 80s. So if something becomes illegal all of a sudden, of course, it's not going to get flushed out that quickly.
Steroids weren't that big a deal as what they were making it out to be, but pro wrestling was a thing that the mainstream media didn't want as big as it was. So they were all on board with like trying to shit on it and make it the way it was. But yeah, I hadn't seen all 6 episodes, but so far the first couple have been they've been good. Like you said, it's been rehashing other stuff, but from the perspective of Vince, I hadn't gotten into the scandal, the sex scandals and all that shit. But
they don't really dive deep in the actual sex scandals. But a couple
like
things
Vince was diving.
Exactly. But some things that, and of course, like probably more hardcore wrestling fans know about. that I noted with the doc was I didn't know Gorilla Monsoon. He's supposed to take over for Vince Sr. and Vince Jr. kind of swooped in and bought it. I didn't know that. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
So that
My other two notes I got. Tony Atlas is fucking hilarious.
yeah,
Um,
he grabbed my
he's
pecker.
such just he's Tony Atlas is the type of motherfucker you need in this kind of documentary because he doesn't give a fuck. Like he's just gonna say, yeah, like there's one point he's like, we were abusing women and treating them like toys, and I know a lot of people held on to that. I don't know what he meant by it, but from what I'm taking by we were abusing women, I think he kind of meant like using
Womanizer.
them, like yeah, exactly. I don't think he meant like beating the shit out of them, which is how a lot of people are
Well,
taking.
he probably
But
might have
again,
meant that
I
too.
don't know.
He probably meant
I,
that too. But
yeah,
he
again, I
probably
don't
meant
know.
more so. He probably meant more so, like you said, just like using them for their
Right.
pleasure and whatnot.
Sex,
But,
drugs, and rock and roll, that type of thing.
but
Um, and then the other thing is one of the lines that stood out to me from Vince was even if it was rape,
the statute of
the
limitations.
statute of limitations had passed.
I wrote that down
Nigga,
too.
what? Who who the fuck would say something like that?
A rapist?
That got away with it?
Uh,
Jesus. This fucking guy, man.
well, you touched on that, so I had that written down too. But also, like you probably knew about this. I didn't know about this. That Randy Richter got screwed on TV
Oh yeah,
like a
she
Bret
did
Hart. I didn't
the
know that.
Montreal screw job before the Montreal screw job.
I didn't know that at all. I'm sure, like a lot of
Oh,
wrestling fans knew
one thing
that.
I did learn, and we've had this talk on here before, and people give me shit about it. When I say Triple H was a piece of shit, Triple H is a piece of shit. It was his idea to fuck over Bret Hart. And then when Bret's wife looked at him, he's like, I didn't know anything about it. Hand to God.
Well, we know him as Sean Lyon. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Bret's a mark. I'm Team HBK all the way. You don't know. You already know that.
You just saw that these guys fucked him over, EJ.
It shouldn't have been a mark.
Oh, wow.
DX baby, but to
The
more.
man, I don't remember if this was on the documentary, but it's been on other ones. Bret Hart was basically like, look, man, don't fucking make me lose in Canada and like shit on me. I'll come out on Raw the next night and I'll just turn the belt over. We could do it was supposed to be
Weak. That's
it
weak.
was supposed to be a non-finish at the pay-per-view. And then he was supposed to come out and turn the belt over. But like I agree with him. Like don't shit on me in front. When your company was dealing with all the steroid stuff, and they talked about this in the documentary. Bret Hart was the safe guy. He was good with kids. They didn't have to worry about him fucking doing drugs or like killing hookers and shit like that, like all the other guys were. They hitched their wagon to Bret Hart, and he got them out of the shithole. And this is how you fucking repaid him. And
Yeah,
I
to
think
get him
that's
out of the
fucked up.
shithole, he kind of like he made it, so they didn't sink. He was like barely floating above water, but
They
you know,
would have went out of business without Bret Hart.
and HBK, it was like they both.
No, Sean was still at the bottom when Bret Hart fucking came to ride. It was 2, 3, 4 years before Sean got to the top where Bret Hart was. They needed Bret Hart way more than they needed Shawn Michaels. And
So
then
yeah,
once they used him up, they fucked him over. And I think it was fucked up that Triple H came up with the idea. And when Bret Hart's wife looked at him and said, "Did you know about it?" Hand to God, knew nothing about it. And then he's on this documentary years later, like, fuck yeah, it was my idea. Fuck him.
yeah, Vince told him to lie too, but
Oh, yeah, because
it's
they did everything Vince told them to do.
it's more other things I can nitpick with Triple H than that. Because like I said, Brett should have been a mark. But yeah, Brett carried it from what 93 to 96, and then after that, like Sean was like almost like a two-man back and forth once Sean got his moment. But yeah, but one more other thing, more serious note before we move on. The Ring Boy scandal, like I've heard about it, but my
Oh,
dumbass
yeah.
never did the research on it. But like that's some fucked up shit, and everybody got fired, and Pat Patterson got rehired. His ass should have never been rehired. I didn't know he was involved in it like that.
That was new to me. I had no idea about that stuff. And I don't ever talk bad about Bret Hart, but the only thing I will say is him in this documentary basically corroborating the story that was happening. It's like, Why the fuck didn't you say something? All these years later, and now you're just now saying something? So you were just standing by watching fucking underage boys get taken advantage of?
How we know he hadn't said anything? This might just be on a larger level, and like everybody said, it might have fell on deaf ear, and you would have got fired.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Just
all fine and dandy to say, tell the truth when you got your family that's not gonna get fed. You go in and say something about it, and Vince, how
I don't know,
psychopathic he
man.
is.
If I go to work and I'm seeing people doing stuff to kids, like I don't think I could just keep clocking in every day and not say anything. Again, like you said, we don't know if Brett said anything or not, or other people. Like Tony Atlas was saying, like, who the fuck you gonna tell? Like,
Yeah. And then you get blackballed. It's not like us where if we get fired, we can find another job in our career. Blackball in the wrestling business with jobs that aren't that many to begin with. Like,
yeah, but
you gotta.
still, I'm. Thank God I've never been put in a situation like that. But I don't know what I would do in a situation like that. I definitely wouldn't be on fucking TV 20 years later being like, yeah, I knew about that. It was fucked up. But
Yeah.
I had a match. I had to go out there with the 1, 2, 3 kid and get the people 15 minutes. I ain't had time for that shit.
I feel you. I mean, it's easy for us to say because I think I would probably want to tell somebody too that we would do that until we actually put in that scenario. So I don't know. The
I
fucked up
told that little
situation.
whack ass reporter that was after him. I'd
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
stooge off to him the way Hogan did with the Union.
that
I
guy's
just send him
hilarious.
fucking anonymous letters and shit like that. Like, hey man, they fucking with these kids around here.
That guy clearly he has something against the wrestling business, but like when history looks back at it, he's on the right side of history. I think even though he might have not meant to be on the right side of history.
Right. He wasn't at the time, but now looking back, he was like, oh, we should listen to that guy. But at the time, what he was doing was incorrect.
Yeah, it seems like he was being an asshole, but yeah. Shout out to that guy. I can't remember his name either.
Yeah. Let's see. You want to get to Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week?
Are we getting it in early, huh?
Yeah, let's fucking.
I don't
You ain't got
even.
time to fuck around, EJ. I got a plane to catch tomorrow.
I don't even have one, so I'll
I
let
got
you
two.
go. Okay.
You want? Okay, so for EJ this week,
No,
Street Clothes
I'm
Wrestler of the
gonna
Week
think of
is.
one. You
No,
ain't
I
playing
got
that.
you. I got you. I got two of them right here. You're gonna
Bro,
like the one I got.
I'll let you get your two off, but I'm still gonna come on.
Yeah, I had a tie. I couldn't decide. Originally, my pick was Jada Parker. That little
She
velour
wrestled.
sweatsuit. Huh?
She wrestled.
No, on NXT last week. She wrestled
Oh,
this. So we still got to cover NXT from last week because we didn't record last
gotcha.
night.
Yeah, true.
But she had that little velour sweatsuit on, and it was magnificent. And I feel like such a pervert looking at that girl because she's like 23.
Yeah, she's hella young.
She hella thick too. And then my other one was Mira Shirakawa.
Oh yeah, she came out on Dynamite, didn't she?
Yeah, she had that little vest on and some shorts right after Mariah May won, and Mira is there's something about her.
What is it about her?
Something.
Hey man, shout out to her.
I don't wanna never mind. I'm not even gonna say what it is about her that I like.
Go ahead and say
alone.
it. You already
It's just one of my favorite flavors. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I guess we leave that alone. That can mean anything.
Yeah. As EJ scrolling Facebook and Instagram trying to find his Street Clothes Wrestler. How am I prepared, EJ? And you're not. Look, I want to show you something.
I had a long
For
week.
the first time in a long time, I sat down Saturday morning and I watched 5 hours of wrestling, EJ.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this. I took notes.
Oh wow!
Look at that. Look at that. A whole page worth. I'm prepared. Hey. I studied for the test. Let's do this shit.
Hey man, I'm impressed that you did all of that to prepare.
Yeah,
hey,
you didn't
let's
do
keep
shit.
that ball
Look
rolling. I'm gonna be I'm gonna take the easy road and just go with your girl Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
From what I
Don't say
see,
Easy Road and Liv Morgan at the same time. That's rude.
I might be looking at old stuff, but
I
for
mean, she's been wearing the same shit for like 3 weeks now.
did she have black shorts and a
Yeah,
black top on?
heels and a fucking jacket and nice legs and abs.
Dang, you gave a full on description. I was just trying to get the gist of it. Hey, not mad at it. So yeah, Liv Morgan, my street clothes rest of the week.
Mm, I ain't mad at it.
Of course
Power
not.
rankings.
Man, I don't have those written down either. I guess you can
Jesus,
take this
EJ,
one.
did you even come prepared?
I watch wrestling. That's all that matters.
Number 5 for me, because we did last week's episode as well. I had Kalani Jordan defended the NXT North American Women's Championship.
She defended it against.
I
I
can't
can't
remember who
remember.
she fought. That was a week. That was 8 days ago.
Wasn't Wendy Chu, was it?
No, it was somebody else. Maybe it was Wendy Chu.
No, I think you're right. It was somebody else. No, they
No, it
got
was what's the girl's name? Not Cora Jade. What's the girl that looks like Cora Jade?
what? Sky Blue? Yeah,
No, the other,
Jasmine.
the crazy one, the one with the dolls and shit.
Paxton. Tatum Paxley.
Tatum, was that who she fought? I don't. Anyway, she won. She defended her title.
Yeah, shout out to her. My number
That's one.
5.
If she ever wore street clothes, she could get street clothes rest of the week a lot.
Well, yeah, correct. My number 5, winner of the Saraya Rules match. I'm gonna go with Jamie Hayter. What you signing for?
I was just thinking about that picture I posted in Discord.
Man, you gotta love Harley Quinn.
I didn't even watch that match.
You did? It was like a little bunkhouse brawls type of situation and a bunch of shenanigans.
Man,
Harley Cameron. I said Harley Quinn, like I'm thinking of the Batman. Harley Cameron.
you know what I miss about old school wrestling? You said a bunkhouse brawl. Motherfuckers like bunkhouse buck. Like
I don't remember.
the
That's past
biggest,
my
the biggest.
expertise.
That's where the bunkhouse brawls came from.
Oh, for
His name
real?
was Bunkhouse Buck. He was just a fucking hillbilly. He wrestled in like jeans and a t-shirt, and he was just like he'd hang out with the Briscoes, like in a chicken house. He was that type of motherfucker.
Sounds like almost
Bunkhouse
like
Buck.
hillbilly Jim type.
Yeah, it was basically WCW's Hillbilly Jim. Him and that
Yeah,
motherfucker named Big Josh.
I remember Big Josh. Randomness.
They found a random white dude that was big as hell, put that motherfucker in a sleeveless flannel, gave him an axe, and sent his ass down the aisle at Clash of the Champions and called him Big Josh.
Pre like Nitro WCW is a wild time. I always watch
And
random stuff for it.
them niggas wasn't even trying. Your name's Big Josh.
Yeah, what a time to be alive. My number 4, I got Hangman Adam Page beating Jeff Jarrett in a strap match on Collision. It's weird, man. Go ahead.
You make the top 5 in power rankings from beating Jeff Jarrett in 2024?
Yeah, because I'm still fascinated that Jeff Jarrett is a babyface in 2024 and fans are cheering for him. Double J chants in the crowd. I would have never thought that. He's like been a career heel and he's not likable. So it's weird that fans are cheering for him. He was like the Triple H of TNA to me, always squashing people and whatnot and always holding that belt. But I don't know, fans been taking to it, but got Adam Page as number 4.
My number 4, and still your AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks.
Oh, yeah. People saying they finally got a glimpse of the old Bucks, against Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay.
That's a good team to beat. Any team with Will Ospreay on it, it's a good team to beat.
Yeah, but they still gotta do something. This EVB gimmick is kind of run its course. I was into it too when they first did it, but now they're just like there. Like it's hard to do that when like the top of your faction doesn't have the world championship. That draws more eyes, and they don't have that. So see if they can pivot off that. That was your number 3 or number 4?
That's my number 4. My number 3 is now your number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship at Wrestle Dream. Jon Moxley.
Of course, we'll get into our Wrestle Dream picks once it gets closer, but some people thinking that Mox could get it off him. I don't like that. I say you could stretch this out more. Jon Moxley's had it the most times in the company already. He's a 3-time AEW champion. He doesn't need it. But that's just my thought. I don't know your thought.
I mean, if Swerve's not going to take it back from him, I think Moxley would be a good person to end his career.
Well, now that you said that, I don't have this written down, and I usually don't do this. It's usually strictly in ring, but since you mentioned that, I got number 3 MVP making his AEW debut.
Wow.
Coming out saying Prince Nana out there shucking and jiving, all in the video. So come to the Hurt Business.
What's that? All in the video. That's a good throwback line.
Come to the Hurt Business if you want to really see some results. Swerve Strickland. So, if MVP, I got the yips today. If MVP comes out, your boy Lashley probably ain't too far behind.
What about Shelton Benjamin?
Yeah. I mean, I said they didn't need to be in AEW, but now that it's happening, I mean, I'm on board.
Hurt Business 2.0 with Swerve replacing Cedric and Swerve being like the champion representative, Lashley being the heavy, and Shelton being the wrestler. Like, I could get on board with that.
Yeah. I'd definitely be, more receptive to that than necessarily Lashley getting in a belt. Like Lashley's already certified. He doesn't need a belt. It wouldn't hurt.
Lashley's my guy though, man. Like, I fucking love me some Bobby Lashley. When he won the title, to me, him winning the belt it wasn't as big a storyline, but him winning the belt and then taking it from Brock also the second time, to me, that was like a moment bigger than Kofi winning.
We were in the building when he won it the second time.
Yeah. Fucking Royal Rumble when he beat Brock.
Yeah.
Now,
you said it was bigger than
that's what I'm saying. So let me rephrase it. The storyline for Kofi was better, and historically, what Kofi did was better. But Kofi beat Daniel Bryan. Now, he beat him at WrestleMania, and they were forced because people were behind Kofi. But Lashley dominated The Miz and took the title, and then beat Brock Lesnar for the title twice. Like, Kofi hadn't sniffed it. So I think objectively, Lashley's was kind of on par with it. But Kofi's moment was, trust me, I've watched Kofi win that belt like 50 times. Like, to me, that's one of those things where if you're in a bad mood and you want to feel better, you go watch the last 5 minutes of Kofi versus Daniel Bryan and the celebration. Like, I'm not trying to shit on that moment at all. But I think Lashley getting it twice is just as big as Kofi getting it once.
I can see that argument. I mean, I remember when I was watching Kofi, watching it live at WrestleMania in my little apartment in California. That was a feel good moment. But with Lashley, because you never know, because he was like the journeyman almost. He left the company, did MMA, did TNA, and you didn't know if like Vince was really gonna pull the trigger, and then he did. So I was real happy when Lashley finally won it, because finally, because like he's supposed to be the next guy up when his first run, and all that hard work finally pays off. And like retroactively, looking back at it, Vince is a piece of shit, but it seems like he's actually done more for black wrestlers than Paul Levesque, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That's my nitpick of Triple H. What's going on right now with black wrestlers, but I digress. That was my number 3. My number 2, man, a lot of people were saying like how they weren't digging Raw, the go home show for Raw. I don't know how you felt about it.
I thought it was pretty good.
Mm.
It wasn't the best Raw, but it served its purpose.
My number 2, then, with that being said, I'm not gonna pick somebody for Raw. Number 2, I go with the Bloodline for getting that win over KO and Randy Orton on SmackDown.
My number 2, for effect. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Number 1 contender.
The new number 1 contender for the TNA World Title at Bound for Glory. They're WrestleMania. They're all in.
I'm surprised you picked that because you said he's not that guy in the ring.
I've told you before, EJ, like, I don't have to like somebody to put them in my power rankings to see that that's a big deal. Like, he's going to fight at their biggest show for the world title in a one-on-one match in the main event. Like, that's a big fucking deal.
I hate face versus face. So you think Nemeth goes heel on the road to Bound for Glory?
I don't subscribe to the it has to be a heel and face theory. To me,
I mean,
like
me go ahead. I'll let you finish first, then I'll tell you.
Stone Cold and The Rock at WrestleMania 17. Yeah, Stone Cold turned heel in the match, but going into it, they were both baby faces. Going into it, they both just wanted to be the world champion. Like, we can both be good guys, but you got that fucking belt and I want it. Like, I don't give a fuck what side of the fence you play on. I want what you got. And I like that. I like it when baby faces fight baby faces for the belt or heels fight heels, because yeah, you're a heel and I'm a heel and technically we're supposed to be on the same side, but are we really? Like, I don't like you either, motherfucker. The only difference is we both cheat.
Yeah, and I'm not like a big traditionalist. Like it has to be face versus face, heel versus heel. And like you said, Stone Cold and The Rock, though, that's an outlier. They were the biggest stars probably ever in the sport, so they could sell that match regardless of what side of the fence. But TNA, they're gaining momentum. They're kind of back, even though they need to get off access. They need to get on a bigger station. But I digress. I just think for your biggest pay-per-view and you have all eyeballs on you, you want the most compelling story. And that's the only reason why I said I don't like face versus face for like your biggest pay-per-view. Because, they've done it at Mania a couple times, like you said, Warrior, Hogan, Rock, Stone Cold. But for this one, I'd like to see, something for Joe Hendry to overcome. I don't want to see we're just going to go out there and have the match. May the best man win. Like,
what's wrong with that?
It's your biggest pay-per-view, Bound for Glory. You want
right.
Eyeball. I'm not that excited about the match right now.
I mean, honest. You don't have to be more excited about the match. You can be excited about this might be Joe Hendry's moment.
I just need a little bit more vitriol going into your biggest pay-per-view. Like you said, if it was like Slammiversary, I'm like, okay, let's just have like a match out there. Let's go wrestle. That's like the second biggest pay-per-view, but it's Bound for Glory. But they still got some time. It's mid-October it's gonna happen, late October, so maybe they'll ramp it up. But you got to pull a trigger because this might run its course to Joe Hendry, buzz and vibes. So I say you got to pull a trigger at Bound for Glory. But once it gets there, we'll talk about it.
Oh shit! I just realized, talking about Bound for Glory, of the 3 biggest companies in America right now, North America, I've been to all their biggest pay-per-views. I went to Bound for Glory in like 2007 when Sting wrestled Kurt Angle for the world title here in Atlanta.
And retroactively, you went to All In. It wasn't AEW All In. It was.
I've been to All Out too, though. And
Yeah,
All
but
Out's supposed to be their biggest show.
All In is their biggest show though now.
Well, I went to All In.
Like to independent All In, but I get you. I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah, you are, you asshole.
That's why you gotta go to Texas next year. Hopefully, I could go.
Nah, fuck that. I'd rather go to Wrestle Kingdom now, even though I don't know anybody in
I don't
Japan
know.
anymore.
I don't know about that flight, but yeah, you guys
I'm
still gotta
doing
go
it
to
in
Wrestle Kingdom.
February.
Hey man, shout out to you. That's gonna be a long flight, but
Yeah,
you gotta
13
get
hours. We got to fly to Montreal, take a 2-hour layover, and then fly 13 hours to Japan.
well, that's when you just take some melatonin and just take a nap.
I
Get
might
through
get
half
an
of it.
edible. I might get fucking 2.5 edibles, knock me out. Cause I'm like B.A. Baracus from the A-Team, man. I wish a motherfucker would feed me a hamburger when I'd wake up in another country.
That's funny.
Did you ever watch the A-Team, EJ? Are you old enough for that?
Nah, I'm a little bit too young for it, but I've seen clips.
Yeah, the A-Team was
I know
they
Mr.
were
T was
military mercenaries. They were
yeah.
on the run from the military, and Mr. T was in it. And whenever they would have to fly somewhere, they would have to trick him into drugging him because he was terrified of flying. So they would put like drugs in his food or in his drink or whatever, and he would always try to outsmart him. Like, I ain't gonna fall for that shit this time, fool. And some kind of way they would outsmart him. Before you know it, this motherfucker laid out on the plane, like doesn't even know he's on the plane. He wake up in Brazil or some shit like that. That's what I need.
That's funny that they did that. It's definitely a different time because drugging somebody, I don't know, you gotta fly on TV.
Yeah, I mean it was in a
Joking,
productive way
man.
they
Yeah.
were drugging him. Yeah, they were doing it for his own good because he would freak out on the plane.
The 80s, what a time to be alive.
It's not like they were fucking doing shit to him while he was asleep, BJ. They were just
Hey,
fucking transporting him from one place to the
hey,
other. They needed him. He was one of
ask,
the main guys on the team.
ask Diddy about that.
No Diddy.
No Diddy. But yeah, I wanted to go back and watch some A-Team. I watched the movie with Rampage. It wasn't that good.
Rampage was one of my favorite fighters of all time.
I
Rampage and
remember,
Misha Tate. Those are my two top people, my favorites.
I remember you mentioning that. Shout out to
Yeah.
Rampage. But
I was so mad when he lost to Forrest Griffin. I thought that was bullshit.
what a flash in the pan too for us, Griffin. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, he did a lot, put a sport, putting it on the map with the Ultimate Fighter, him and Stephen Bonner, rest in peace. But yeah, he wasn't on that level. He just got lucky, I guess, that night because he wasn't
That
like
was why he
championship
no, he
material.
didn't get lucky that night. Rampage beat his ass that night. When that fight was over and they were standing there like about to wait on the decision, it looked like Forrest Griffin was in a fight that he lost, and it looked like Rampage was about to go out that night because he didn't have a mark on him. Like to me, he whooped Forrest's ass. And I think the Ultimate Fighter had a lot to do with that decision going to Forrest back then. Like they were trying to build stars.
I have to go back and watch that fight. It's been a while. I probably only watched it once, and that was retroactively. But it'd be like that sometimes. GSP got a decision like that over Johnny Hendricks too, and
Uh,
GSP was like, "My face just bruises easily." He looked like shit.
don't get
And
me started on GSP. I think that's the most overrated fucking fighter ever.
I feel like he's one of the goats, but you know, some people are more GSP fans than others. The Canadians, the
The
Jays.
best thing he ever did was on the Cavino and Rich show when they had him say, "You can UFC these nuts," because he
I
didn't know
remember
what he
that.
was talking. He didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah, I remember that clip. That's hilarious. But,
Where we at in
yeah.
power rankings? Goddamn, we fucking diverted like hell.
Did you did your number
I did
two?
my number two,
Yeah,
so I'm at
that's
number
my
one.
number one. And number
My
one.
number one.
No, I got to do mine first, and then I think yours.
No,
Oh, I thought you did
I'm
your.
going. You do number one last. It's my
Oh,
turn
so there we
still.
go.
My number one is now your two-time NXT heavyweight champion of the world, Trick Willie. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That even before you said it, that was my number one. It was an okay
Trick.
match.
I will say this. I don't know if this was on NXT television, but I saw it on Twitter and all that. CM Punk showing up dressed like Shawn Michaels when Shawn Michaels used to referee with the little booty shorts on and the cutoff shirt was fucking hilarious. He even had his fucking shorts stuffed.
It's funny.
Have you seen that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, he pulled up. Triple H is standing there, and CM Punk shows up, and he's got a little cutoff referee shirt on, and he's got the little black spandex shorts on with the shorts stuffed up, and a cowboy hat on. Shawn Michaels like, who would dress like that for a referee match? It was just, some stupid wrestling humor.
Yeah. Obviously he changed out. I didn't see that clip. I gotta go back and watch it. But yeah, I had Trick as my number one. And before I talk about him a little bit more, what do you think, like the rollout? How'd you like the rollout of this new CW era, new belts, new theme? They kicked it off in the arena. What do you think about that?
I was shocked by the new belts, mainly because they didn't look. I mean, they took the little rainbow colors off of them, but they
Mhm.
look the same to me. They look very plain. I I love NXT in an arena, but I don't think they need to do it all the time. I think they need to save it for big shows like they used to with like takeovers and stuff. But you put NXT in front of 10,000 seat stadium of people that want to be there. My God, man, it makes them come off so much bigger and better.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they had to switch arenas next week from the Blues arena into like a almost like a club night scene type area with
For St.
this
Louis,
yeah.
why they didn't sell enough tickets?
Yeah, they had to go to like some like this club venue basically.
I didn't know
'Cause-
that.
yeah, but I'm sure they're gonna make it look good. Randy's gonna, put butts in, make that, venue look good and whatnot. But yeah, like you said, it was a good presentation. Julia and Roxy went out there and, put on a show.
I was shocked because I thought, and I put this
Julia.
out on Twitter because I forgot to say it on the show last week. I thought Stephanie Vaquer was going to come out and cost Julia the match, and
Mm.
they would start a feud. Um, but Cora Jade came back, which I'm not mad at. Cora Jade and Sky Blue. I know they look alike, but their careers are like on the same parallel also, as to where every time I get invested in one of them, they end up getting fucking hurt.
Mm. Yeah, man. Sometimes the injury, but I feel like this is Sky Blue's first injury like that though, but definitely Cora Jade.
Now she's been hurt a couple times now.
Oh, well, it's bad luck. Happy to see Cora Jade back. But back to my thoughts on Trick Williams. I love seeing the rise of Trick Williams because fans getting behind him all of a sudden kind of came out of nowhere because he was Carmelo's, sidekick,
Right.
and that music slaps. But ever since he like turned face, like I was there in the building for not takeover, but Stand and Deliver, and the crowd went crazy. But something's kind of missing with this like baby face run for some reason on my end. He's still over, but how long are you gonna be able to ride off that theme music slapping? Because I feel like my favorite trick when he was in his bag, when he was like Carmelo's sidekick, he used to have some funny ass like little digs that you got to go back and catch. Like, he just say that, just like funny little quips, and I feel like he's not even doing that anymore.
I feel like Trick is in the same spot to me as not necessarily the same spot, but my same feeling as Mercedes. I think he needs a better finishing move. That match was so anticlimactic at the end of it. And then him just hitting the fucking jumping knee to Ethan Page's face, and that's what the win was. Like, I need a move where I'm gonna be like, oh shit, he just fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The finishing move goes a long way for wrestler presentation, and to me, that jumping knee is not it.
Yeah, that goes into it too. I mean, that's kind of hard to pull off. But what about as far as like on the mic with him being like a heel back in the day versus now? Because I feel like it just be funny shit he used to say about the wrestlers, like making fun of them and shit back in the day. I was like, that shit was hilarious. But then now it's just like he's like, I don't know, on the
I mean,
mic.
he's putting out these rap videos every time he starts a feud. The last couple times, like he put one out about Butch, and then he put one out about Ethan Page.
Oh, maybe I
That's
gotta
where he's
look at
getting his
that.
shit in with that.
Okay, well. Maybe I gotta go and look at the social media too. I'm just saying, as far as the screen goes.
Yeah. I
But
don't know. I like Trick on TV. I think his transition from a heel to a babyface has been good to where he hasn't changed a lot, but he's changed enough to not like he's not demeaning people like he was when he was a heel, like you're saying. As funny as that was, you can't really be a babyface and do that shit. You know what I mean? Like you gotta kind of be a little more respectful. But I don't know.
I think you can though, because I mean, he's more serious nowadays, and I'm not, totally against it. Like I said, right now it's working, but I'm just hoping it's not gonna like run its course when he gets on the main roster. But your boy The Rock, like he did a good job of like, knowing when to be serious and still like popping his shit and being hilarious. You don't
EJ,
have to
we
be a
can't.
you don't have to be a Rock carbon copy, but you can still make it your own and still pop your shit and
The Rock was an outlier though, EJ. If we go back and listen to what The Rock was saying as a babyface, he'd be the biggest heel in the world right now. Not wrestling the war. He used to call Kevin Kelly a hermaphrodite as a
of course the
babyface.
language can't be the same.
That's what I'm saying. Like The Rock
But
was a different animal. Like he was basically a bully that we would all be like, I like this motherfucker. You can never see Sting or Bret Hart or any other white meat babyface doing that.
and and even more of a modern take of it, like New Day in their prime when they like switched over from heel to babyface, like they said some funny shit and was able to get. They had times where they could get serious too, but they said some funny shit.
Yeah, but they weren't like when they were heels, they were mean and they'd pick on you. As baby faces, they were just keeping up with pop culture, which Trick is kind of doing.
Like I said, it's working. I'm not totally turned on Trick. I never would do that. Yeah. University of South
Sounds
Carolina
like you
alum.
are.
Nah, I'm still on Trick, man. But I'm just saying, once you get to that main roster, like it's a whole different animal. Because Carmelo's picking it up now, but Carmelo had a kind of a slow start. Like these matches with Andrade are definitely helping. You can get lost in the sauce on the main roster, and I don't want to see
I
that
don't
happen with Trick.
I don't think we need to worry about Trick going to the main roster for the next year or so. Why rush it?
I think he might go after this next draft in
I
March after
think
WrestleMania. After
they just
WrestleMania,
went to the CW and he's one of the biggest stars they got, and they can still work with him and mold him. I I think bringing Trick to the main roster within the next year would be a mistake. That's just me.
I don't know. I mean, April, that's 6 months from now. I could see them putting him up there after this year's Stand and Deliver and whatnot. He carried the belt through Stand and Deliver, but what I know.
Well, you
But
just brought up WrestleMania, EJ. Let's get into the news topic. The sister of WrestleMania is SummerSlam, and it was reported this week that SummerSlam next year in 2025 will be 2 nights in the New York City, New Jersey area. EJ, how do you feel about SummerSlam going to 2 nights every year now?
hate it. I don't
Hated
like it.
it.
Yeah, like in the words of Damon Wayne. Who's with him? David Allen Greer. Hated
Yeah, hated
it.
it.
um, yeah, I don't like it. I mean, what's the difference between Mania and SummerSlam now? Like,
Exactly.
you don't need that. And WWE is gonna sell tickets, but we've seen even with regular SummerSlams, they gotta tarp it off in the stadium. Like what? Like,
It's still got 40, 50,000 people there, though.
but I just feel like it's a money grab. It's good.
Definitely.
It's good that you're gonna get more talent on, but it's unnecessary. Like, but make your talent work harder. If you want to get on SummerSlam, you got to work harder to get on this one night, and it's watering down everything. I don't like it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving the popularity of WWE and wrestling, like how big they're making it. But I'm not loving the ticket prices. I'm not loving the merch prices, and I'm not loving how they want to capital. As a business, I can see it from their standpoint. Like we're hot as fuck right now. Let's make everything 2 days. But as a consumer, it's too much.
Yeah,
2026, you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna have a 2 night Royal Rumble. The women's
yeah.
Royal Rumble on one night and the men's Royal Rumble the next night.
And then why not stop there? 2 night Survivor Series, 2 War Games on 2 different nights, and then 2 day Money in the Banks, women's and men's. Like where are they gonna stop?
Yeah. They all, you know what? My grandma used to say, "You overcooking my grits," and that's what WWE's doing right now. You're doing too much. Stay with what you got before you overexpose yourself. And I think that's what's going to happen in the next year or two. I think they're trying to grab all the money. You know, TKO paid what $9 billion for WWE, and they're trying to get their return on investment, but they're trying to do it right now as opposed to over the long haul. And I think in the long run it's going to hurt. And I'm just not feeling. Again, like we're going to WrestleMania next year. It's 2 nights. Like I'm setting aside a lot of money for these tickets, and I'm not happy about it. But I've never seen The Rock wrestle in real life, and if The Rock's going to be there, I want to be there. Now, if I buy these tickets and The Rock doesn't wrestle, I'm flipping these motherfuckers, and I'll just go to all the other stuff that's in Las Vegas. I don't need to be at WrestleMania. But when I went 3 years ago in Dallas, you know, we paid $150 and we were in the 100 section of the stadium. Like we weren't on the floor, we were right off of the floor, but like in the last row, like we had phenomenal seats. Those seats right now go for $400 just 3 years later.
Hey, and y'all shat on Vince. At least Vince didn't have these ticket prices high. That's just a joke. Vince still a piece of shit. But yeah, there's no reason. Inflation didn't happen that much in 3 years. It just seems like it's more money hungry, which I don't like.
Yeah. And people are paying for it because they're the cool thing, and that's the place to be now. And coincidentally, you know, you can go to AEW and sit in the front row for $40.
Yeah, that's this topic for a different day. Why that's so though. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't like it. Now you're making people do 2 nights at SummerSlam. That gets expensive, and 2 nights at WrestleMania. Like I said, like what's the difference between Mania and SummerSlam now? Like, is Mania supposed
Yeah.
to be your special show? I don't
And like
like
I
it.
said, fucking Royal Rumble's gonna be 2 nights pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so too. But I don't know. I guess it is what it is. We just gotta sit back and take our medicine, so to speak.
Other news in wrestling, Pentagon and Phoenix are not headed to WWE anytime soon because apparently Tony Khan added their injury time onto the end of their contract, and people are freaking out about it. Um, if it's within the right of the contract, I don't have a problem with it. Whatever.
I've seen people. Well, if you're just gonna sit them, then it's just you just being an asshole. No, you gotta honor your contract. If they were out for injury, that gets tacked back on. I mean, it is what it is. Like that's a good faith contract, and you just can't not, fulfill your
Yeah.
contract. So I'm not
And
mad at it either.
for the next 6 weeks, we're gonna have your ass losing the top flight.
Yeah, it probably will happen.
Hey, I don't give. As long as Layla Gray's on TV, I'm good with it.
Yeah, shout out to Layla Gray. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see how they would fare in WWE, but you gotta fulfill that contract. And
You'll have
they
to
say
wait.
that about Ray Phoenix. I don't know what's Penta's status look like though.
With my pen is showing up,
Yeah.
WWE, and you know, starts 3 or 4 months into it, he starts getting jumped by the LWO or some other faction, and you're like, damn, Penna sure could use some help. And you don't even think about it, and then Phoenix shows up.
That'd be dope. But like we don't really know what's going on because I'm hearing, rumblings that Miro wants to get out of his contract too. And
I didn't know this nigga still wrestled, to be honest with you.
I mean, I
I
wouldn't
was
be. Go ahead.
I was such a fan of Miro. Like he got in really good shape. Like if you think about what Rusev looked like when he first got there and what Miro looked like his last couple matches at AEW, like you can't even say that's the same person. He got in such good shape. He had such a good move set, charisma off the fucking charts. Like, what the fuck happened to Miro in AEW, EJ?
Injuries and creative. I mean, I probably wouldn't wrestle either if I lost CJ Perry, but I digress.
I mean, yes and no. Like you're Miro. You got CJ Perry once. You can get another CJ Perry.
Maybe, but I digress. Like I said,
Go
yeah,
back, go back to NXT. Shit.
yeah, I know, right? You can find shooting crabs in the barrel there.
That's moving right along.
No, but going back to Miro before we move on to our picks and stuff. Yeah, injuries. He got injured a lot, and then creative. Like what happened backstage? Like I said, we don't know. Is he refusing creative, or is Tony just giving him shit? I don't know. But if I'm Tony, if I'm paying you, you better roll your ass out there and wrestle. I don't know.
Right.
Man.
I could have you losing the bunkhouse buck. I'm paying you a lot of money. You better get your ass out there and look at them lights for 3 seconds. And I think maybe the Miro thing is Tony like putting his foot down. Well, if you don't want to do what the fuck I tell you to, then just stay home. Like I'm not gonna let you just go back to WWE. Yeah, I gotta still pay you, but people are gonna forget who the fuck you are by the time you go back to WWE. Ain't nobody gonna remember Miro. Fuck out here, Tony Khan.
See, and then like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because like you said, you're not just gonna let them out and go to WWE. But then if you send them home, then you have people, oh, why are you holding on to them?
Nah.
What can you do? What can you do?
I'm pro employee over employer most of the time.
Me too.
But if the employer is paying you a shitload of money in pro wrestling and you just don't like the creative and you're like, I'm not gonna fucking do it, you kind of lose me a little bit. Like, get your ass out there and make it work. I watch Baron Corbin go out there and get shit storylines all the time, and he made it work. I watch guys like The Miz go out there and make it fucking work. I watched The New Day for the past 10 years take bullshit and make it work. You can't find anything that they're telling you to do?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck you.
They went out there with unicorn penises on their heads and
sold the shit out of it. Little white kids everywhere was having unicorn dicks on their heads.
Yeah.
$32 a pop. And you telling me you can't go out there and wrestle Kip Sabian? Because you're too good for that? The fuck out of here, Miro.
Yeah.
And I like Miro. But goddamn, man. Like
we shit on Tony all the time, but like if you're in his position, like you can't win for losing and whatnot. Like so if he rolls him out there and gives him shit creative, y'all be bitching. He's giving him shit creative. But if he sits him at home, why is he sitting at home? So like what's he supposed to do?
Well, EJ, he could give him better creative, and then Miro would be happy and we would be happy as well.
And then give him top flight creative, and then once his contract is up, he goes over to WWE like a star.
Well, who would want to go to WWE, EJ? He clearly wants to be in AEW for life because he's a sicko.
Go and I say to that, go back in your basement and get the Jergens lined up.
I'm still in my basement now. My hands are greasy from Suave cocoa butter lotion.
We won't be able to satisfy everybody, so I guess you're probably right. You just like sit your ass at home if you don't want to take it creative. I'm not gonna let you just roll out.
You don't want to come to work? All right, stay at home. Cool. You know, you're getting a check. You got me. I'm paying you to not do a goddamn thing. But I tell you what, I'm not just gonna let you go across the street and be a big star. You want to be an asshole? You can sit your ass at home. Go back to Bulgaria.
I thought it was Russia, according to when he first got in there.
No, he was a Russian advocate.
Oh, that's what he was, a Russian.
Yeah,
that's how they spun it.
He was still from Bulgaria, but he was a Russian advocate. Lana was from Russia, even though she went to FSU.
Her family was from Russia, though.
With Jen Sturger.
Yeah, that situation. You know, you're gonna get on that, but Brett Favre, she said, "Fuck him for life."
Yeah, Jen Sturger was in wrestling. She was one of the interviewers at the first All In.
AEW, yeah.
Yeah. before she went to comedy.
I don't even want to touch on that because I've seen it and I'll just leave it at that. But what we got next?
Stephanie Vaquer debuts on NXT television, and Xia Li debuts in TNA.
I know you were probably a big fan of Zaya. I can't remember her TNA name, but she looked pretty solid her first outing.
Yeah.
I think AEW could have used her, but what I
Solid
know.
was a good word for her.
Hey, whoa now. We keeping it PG today, I thought.
I said for her. I didn't say for me.
Mm.
I'm saying she looked sturdy.
That's a good pickup for TNA though.
Yeah.
I don't know. The women's division is kind of, it's not bad, but I feel like Jordan Grace is just going through everybody. She needs a
She's been a
credible
champ
opponent.
for a year.
Yeah. And I've always liked TNA's women divisions, but Jordan Grace has kind of like stopped it up a little bit.
Stomping them out.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Zaya. And Fakira, yeah, that was last week's NXT, wasn't it? Where she popped up on screen.
Yep.
Like you said, you thought she was gonna be the one that cost her, but no, they did Cora Jade.
I think she's still fulfilling dates in Mexico.
I thought she dropped the belts and they were mad about that.
I mean, she still showed up at a couple Mexican shows recently.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, how this all shakes out. Who do you think is gonna get the belt off of Roxanne?
I don't know. I ran through my head and I thought Stephanie Vaquer, I thought Julia, I thought Cora Jade, I thought Jada Parker, and I thought Lola Vice.
I don't like any of the last three you named taking it off of her. I wouldn't mind Lola Vice because I feel like she's picking up quickly. I don't think Jay is quite there. And Cora, like you said, she's too injured. Like I don't really have a good. I wouldn't mind Fallon Henley getting it. She's good in the
That's
ring.
my girl now.
She's good in the ring.
I'm a big Fallon Henley guy.
Yeah, she's got her no faction. I wouldn't mind seeing her if they don't go like the veteran route with Julia and Procure. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Fallon get it, but
I really want a Vaquer Julia feud without the title.
They probably will do that.
I want them to come in and fucking just tear into each other and put on some matches that are like that'll feed families, as the kids say.
I won't be mad at that. I think as far as in ring, I think Roxanne is there, but something on the mic, even as a heel, is missing. I think with her.
Really, I've enjoyed her on the mic lately.
I don't know. It's like you could tell that she's trying, but I'm not 100% convinced. But what I know, I might just be nitpicking. But I don't know. I thought she was going to drop it, so I don't really see. Maybe they're going to run this out till Stand and Deliver. I don't see where she drops it now.
Before we get to our bad blood picks, you got anything you want to say about Grand Slam? I mean, I had two of the main winners in my top 5. And Bryan Danielson beats Nigel McGuinness at Grand Slam. Mariah May retains the title over I can't think of her name.
Yakura. Wasn't she
sure? Mariah May beats Pikachu, and then that was mean. I'm sorry. She's the same size. That's why I said Pikachu. They're about the same height. Yuka. What the fuck is her last name? Sakazaki?
Yeah,
Yuka Sakazaki?
Yuka.
Okay. She beat Yuka. The Bucks beat Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, and Moxley beat your boy Darby Allin, and then Jamie Hayter beat Paige. Anything you want to touch on that before we get to bad blood predictions?
It was okay, both Dynamite and Collision. It hit the nostalgia bone when it came to Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness. But I don't know, man. because I enjoyed the hell out of All Out, but this post All Out build up has been all over the place. I just hope they kind of get back on track. And I always lead with the positive, but like, yeah, that fucking Darby giving up his title shot didn't make a damn lick of sense. Oh, one thing I did like is them retiring that FTW belt. Less belts. I'm all for that.
When Hook talks, does he not sound like a caricature of like a Boston and Philadelphia person?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just shout out to my dad. I want to
Yeah.
give the title away.
Yeah,
Like
it's like he's
what?
imitating it because he didn't really grow up
Yeah.
in that, because he grew up in private schools and shit. Yeah, it's like he's trying to imitate, like his dad's like a real New York dude. Yeah, I hear that too.
I'm sick of Hook and Taz, honestly.
Yeah, I talked about that before. Like the ship is kind of sailing.
Just a
He looks like he weighs $130.
fake ass Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even want to give it that much credit.
Take Hook, Taz, Jeff Jarrett, and just get rid of him in AEW. Taz is good on commentary. I'll give him that, but he don't need to be on TV.
I mean, you gotta kind of be on TV if you're on commentary.
You know what I mean? Like he don't need to be getting involved in storylines and shit.
They kind of retired the Team Taz thing, and Jeff Jarrett
just choked the motherfucker out and all in.
He did. That was kind of like a one-off. I think they could do something different with Hook. Maybe there were rumblings him going to NXT. I don't know how well he would fit there. He needs to put some bulk on. I hate being that guy, being like, but it is still kind of a visual business, and he doesn't look, him or Jungle Boy they don't look believable, or Darby, but Darby has that like Daredevil mentality, so I guess I could give him a pass. But Jungle Boy and Hook, I can't really get into it because they look like children. But same with Nick Wayne, but Nick Wayne has an excuse. He's like 18. These guys are like grown ass men looking like little boys.
Nick Wayne got Mama Wayne now.
That's true. But yeah, like Jeff Jarrett though, like for some reason I don't like Jeff Jarrett, but I'm still intrigued by this baby face turn, because when he was a heel with the giant Indian guy and Jay Lethal, I'm like, man, get this motherfucker off my TV. Like it's the same old shit, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't like it, but I'm like, what's going on with this fucking baby face?
This motherfucker out here looking like Marshall Bravestar and shit. Like, get Jeff Jarrett off my TV. I don't need a 55-year-old man with a Fu Manchu mustache on TV wrestling every Wednesday. AEW is supposed to be where the best wrestle. Jeff Jarrett ain't never been the best wrestler. Never.
You would tell you he is amount of title reigns he had, but
ain't I great?
But I mean, I still think it's amazing when you still have people from the 90s still out there. He looks like a million bucks. He's on the sauce probably. Him and Billy Gunn.
Great shape. Yeah, he's in great shape. I ain't gonna front it at all. Like, I fucking kill look like Jeff Jarrett, the shape he's in. Like, when I was at WrestleCade a couple years ago, he was in our hotel, and just being right next to him, like, dude is fucking put together. But I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't want to see you wrestle. I don't want to see you talk. I don't want to see you on TV.
I feel like right now they're not really overdoing it. I have more of a gripe with how much Jericho is still on more than Jarrett. Rucker said I lost a word.
We ain't even got time to talk about Jericho. Anything else you want to hear from Grand Slam before you want to predict Bad Blood so we can get the hell up out of here? I got vacation to get to, EJ.
We got Bad Blood and NFL still, so let's just get to it.
We got Bad Blood.
Hey, they should make Taylor Swift the theme song. Like, that's like right in their face. Like,
probably couldn't afford her.
True.
They fucking you get Taylor Swift on the payroll. Bad Blood's gonna be 2 nights.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just so they can fucking make up
so
for
pay
it.
For the royalties and shit.
Monday Night Raw now. It's gonna be Monday and Tuesday Night Raw on Netflix.
3 hours each.
Everything's 2 nights.
Yeah, but Atlanta, but you're not even gonna be in town for it.
Nah, be in Mexico, hanging out with the Mysterios.
Wow, that seems like a little racist. Why they got? I know Ray's from Mexico, but Dominic's
He's got
American.
Mexican tattooed on his fucking stomach. How's that racist?
Said Dominic's American.
I was talking more about Aaliyah.
She's American too.
Whatever. She can come. She can come to Cancun this weekend.
All right, you talking about being creepy for Jada Parker? They're the same age.
Are they really?
Yeah, same age, man.
I mean, Buddy Murphy was dating her
Well, just,
4 or 5
just
years ago.
just because he's a creep doesn't mean you have to.
Was he a pedophile? Because that was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes, I'm thinking that he really dated her. Storyline, talking about the storyline stuff. I was
Whatever.
like, did they really? I was thinking in my head, hey, that's storyline. That was like the Thunderdome era.
Shit, Jada Parker can come to Cancun too this weekend if she wants to.
Hi, Miss Parker. Let's get off this before we say something wrong and they try to get
You
us out the
already
paint.
did, but whatever. Let's go. Bad Blood.
You have it pulled up?
No, I
Ah,
thought you
shit.
did. It's your
thought
job.
sometimes you have it pulled up, but I do have it pulled up the majority of the time, but have it up now. Coming live from I'm so used to calling it the State Farm. Not State Farm, the Phillips Arena, and now it's the State Farm
Yeah,
Arena.
State Farm now. Yep.
I'm so used to the Phillips Arena, and now it's the State Farm. But State Farm Arena, where the Hawks play, where the Thrashers used to play before they got pulled. And this has been a running theme for the Paul Levesque era. Just 5 matches that they have listed. I know you like it, but I feel like you're in Atlanta, you could throw 6 on there, maybe 7.
Nah, fuck
Bad
that.
Blood.
Get in, get off, get out.
Well, it's 5 matches listed on here. I'm just gonna go in order, but I think the number 3 is probably gonna main event. The first one they got listed on here is Liv Morgan, the champion with Dirty Dom, versus Rhea Ripley. Singles match for the Women's World Championship. Mysterio will be suspended above the ring in a cage shark. Excuse me, shark cage.
I came on here 6 to 8 months into Rhea Ripley's reign as the world champion and told you that I thought her title reign was trash. As much as I like her, and as much as I don't mind her being in street clothes, Liv Morgan's title run shit. She's defended the title, what, twice?
Yeah, it's been equally as non-eventful as Rhea's.
So theoretically, it's like, all right, well, let's get the belt off of her. But if we get the belt off of her, it's just gonna go back to Rhea Ripley, who ain't gonna fucking defend the title either. So
She might in this new Judgment Day less role, and she's I guess officially a babyface now.
I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan. I'd rather Liv just keep it and stay on TV.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan as well. As Bad Blood, is kind of a classic pay-per-view. That's where Kane debuted and they had the first Hell in a Cell, but it's still not like a big 4. Like I feel like it'd be random for Rhea to win it back here. I feel like she still has more things to overcome. So I'm gonna go with Liv to win it as well. And Dominic being suspended in that shark cage, he's not gonna be there the whole time. It's gonna be something going on with that. But yeah, I got Liv too. Next match, another match that has Bad Blood. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, just in a straight up singles match.
I'm gonna go with Damien. I'd love Finn to win. I'm gonna cheer for Finn Balor, but I think Damien needs this win.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go. I'm gonna go Damian too, because I think Rhea's gonna lose, and then we'll have Damian win. I don't think both of them are gonna lose. So that's I'll give it to them. This one is like a toss up. Like I can see either one of them winning. A lot of these non-big 4, like you can kind of predict, and they kind of go through the motions. Because this would be their first domestic one in a while, right?
Yep.
Outside the big 4, they usually take these like other ones outside the country. So Yeah, rewatching that one. Next one, which I think probably might be the main event, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell.
Give me DM Hunk.
Getting Drew McIntyre, huh? So Drew McIntyre wins. Where do both of those guys go from there?
CM Punk go to hell. I don't know. Punk moves on to whatever else. Like, honestly, he probably takes a couple months off to recover so he doesn't get hurt again. And that's not me trying to be funny. That's WWE trying to be smart with how they're using him.
Yeah. I've said this before. He's had his track record where you can't forgive all the shit that he done before he came back to the WWE. But what recently has been grinding your gears about CM Punk?
Honestly, I've liked him lately. I think I've said that on here. Like, I've enjoyed him on TV lately.
Oh,
I've said that already. That's not news.
Still an epiphany from go back to the Marty era. You think this guy was the devil walking around?
Look, man, if I'm one thing, I'm objective. And I can appreciate when somebody's entertaining or doing good work or having a good match, even if I don't like that person. And I think Punk has been way less annoying lately than he ever has been in his career. He still sucks.
But you say you've been enjoying it, so that's a win on Punk's behalf.
Yeah,
Kinda
good for him. He won me over after 20 years. This fucking guy. Now he can retire peacefully. He came back just to win over Chris Rucker on boot to the face. And he got it done.
One person at a time, baby. One person at a time.
Next thing you know, he's gonna send me ice cream bars.
I know, right?
Pepsi. Pepsi Zero, because I gotta put whiskey in it.
Don't tell him that. I'm gonna go opposite. I mean, I could definitely see Drew winning. Like, as far as these matchups, either one of these could go. Like, all of these, except for maybe Nia Bailey, all of these could go either way. I think. But I'm gonna go CM Punk because I think they could probably do a little more with him storyline wise. Like, he could maybe try to get Gunther after this, and Drew McIntyre maybe circling back around and screwing them. But I mean, you could go to Ray at Drew McIntyre winning. I don't know. I'm kind of torn, but I'm gonna go CM Punk. I'll stick with that. Next one for your WWE Women's Championship: Nia Jax, the champion, versus Bayley.
EJ, how do you feel about the fact that we saw not only Jamie Hayter but Tiffany Stratton both get choked on TV this past week?
Damn, I saw Jamie Hayter. I didn't pay attention to Tiffany Stratton. She got choked too.
He was backstage with Nia Jax, and Nia grabbed her by the throat and just like choked her while she was talking to her. And I'm trying to think of I don't know if it was Black Wrestling or the Enemies Pod, but they retweeted the video and tagged Nia in it and were like, "Can you do us next?"
That's hilarious. And then PE3 because they talk about her pretty frequently. They're fans of Nia.
Oh my god! But yeah, Tiffany and Jamie Hayter both got choked on TV, and just leave it at that. Do with that what you will.
Hey, either you could be appalled or terrified, or a little turned on. Whatever you're into. We don't judge around here. You say you got Nia?
Oh yeah, I got Nia winning. Bayley doesn't need the title. The only way Nia doesn't win is if Tiffany cashes in. But Bayley is not leaving with the belt.
I don't think Tiffany should cash in. They may pull the trigger. I don't think she should though. I got Nia.
Are they trying to turn Tiffany babyface?
I don't like her as a babyface. I mean,
Toodles.
She's just a natural heel. Like,
yeah, but it's Tiffy time, EJ.
Yeah, but I feel like she had like a little buzz, like where they're cheering her. I feel like that's died down a little bit. She's not.
That moveset that's a babyface moveset she's got.
It is a babyface moveset, but it's not on quite as level as Charlotte because Charlotte doesn't work as a babyface at all. But
Babyface look also.
You know, is it a baby face look?
Mm-hmm.
A little plasticky. We're not judging, but I guess. Um, nah, keep her heel. They're trying, like you said, the way they presented it with Nia choking her, it's like they're trying to turn. But I guess we got to see how it plays out. But I got Roman on in the middle of the card, so I'm thinking this probably is the main event. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline, Sol Sokola and Jacob Fatu being
Your
accompanied
internet,
by GOD.
your internet went out right when you made your pick for the women's match. Who'd you say you had between Bailey and Nia?
I got Nia.
Okay. All right. So we're on the Roman and Cody versus the Bloodline.
Yeah, I got. I didn't even think about this one. I think the Bloodline wins this one, and that carries us over to Survivor Series.
I think the Bloodline has to win.
Yeah, I think Cody should take the pin.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Bro, why should Roman take the pin? Like, what the fuck? That's the tribal chief talking about the OTC. Like, what? He got to take no pin.
Yeah, but
Cody,
Cody's your world heavyweight champion.
is he though? I mean, he has the belt, but I thought the most over guy in the company should have the belt. Yeah, Cody, you got to be taking that 3-second time. Soul's gonna spike him right in the throat and thumb him right in the throat.
God damn, EJ, you ruthless.
Hey man,
EJ said, "Fuck Cody."
yeah,
I got the Bloodline winning also.
yeah. So, I mean, we're kind of jumping ahead. Well, I'm jumping ahead. If they do win, I don't want to see Cody in Survivor Series, but I feel like they, like you said this last week, they're kind of separating Jay and making him his own man. Like, can he even bring him back into the fold at this point?
And Jay ain't got time for that shit. Jay got an Intercontinental title to defend. He ain't worried about the motherfuckers no more. He's been over the Bloodline. He on a different show and everything. Jay ain't got time for that.
I want Cody out of this, and I know they could do this perfectly now because the tensions are rising week by week with him and KO and Randy. So have him deal with that shit. I don't want to see him in War Games.
War Games be a perfect place for Randy Orton to turn on him though.
So you just want like a mixed match type of Survivor Series team: Roman, Randy, KO, and I don't know about that.
And Orton turns on fucking Cody.
I want to see a Bloodline Civil War, but we don't know what's going on with Jimmy.
Yeah,
They're
we
being
gonna.
cryptic about it.
And who's gonna be the fourth member? They gonna bring Sammy back? He's busy with
Yeah.
Gunther.
They'll probably do that on Raw, World Title match, or Hikuleo. You could bring in Hikuleo.
All right, we gotta run through these NFL picks really quick, like 5 to 10 minutes. Think we could do it that quick?
Yeah, we could do it real quick.
I wish I had that fucking Fox music to put on in the background.
Dun-dun-dun,
That used to be my ringtone.
So week 4, you went. Excuse me. You went 10-6.
That's playoffs.
Yeah, and I went 9-7. What saved me
Damn.
though was you didn't believe in your hometown Chiefs. They won. They saved me, and the Lions saved me as well because you were starting to pull away with the first few games of the day. I'm like, shit, this motherfucker might beat me, and I kind of saved myself, but that pulled you ahead a little bit more for the overall. I'm 34-30 now, and you're 33-31, so it's neck and neck so far.
Yeah.
And now we got week 5 ahead of us. I don't know if you have it pulled up. I have a copy pulled up.
All right, we'll let you read them off.
Week 5, and we finally reached the bye weeks. The Lions The Titans, the Eagles, and the Chargers are off
This
this week.
fucking NFL season's flying by already.
Yeah, I hate that. It just makes you feel like time's moving by quickly. Start thinking about you getting older and mortality, but we're gonna keep it happy and positive.
I was thinking more like the season's almost over already. I wasn't thinking about getting older. God damn, EJ.
Like
You're like 5 years younger than me.
yeah, but football season is like my favorite time of the year. There's still a lot of season left though. We still got a lot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hopefully for the Bulldogs, they got fucking smacked up by Alabama again.
I didn't even want to bring it up, but you said it.
And fucking Carson Beck just can't beat the Crimson Tide, man.
Yeah, but
The Bulldogs have lost 3 games in the past 3 years, and they've all been to Alabama.
Alabama is a dynasty, and even
They're
without
like
Nick Saban.
56-3 or some shit like that. And they're 0-3 against Alabama, 56-0 against everybody else.
SEC is a Shark Tank, man. It's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
that Georgia-Texas game is going to be a big fuck because Georgia can only afford to lose one other game. If they lose 3 times, there's no way they can make the playoffs, right?
Oh, they can still make it. There's 12 teams in it now. LSU
Yeah,
made
but
it to.
I mean, if other teams are undefeated and they got 1 loss and Georgia's got 3, can they really justify putting them in?
If you said if teams are undefeated, but no teams are probably gonna go through undefeated like that. If LSU can make it to a BCS championship game before the playoff with 2 losses, there's scenarios where Georgia could get into the 12 seed with 3 losses.
I think they have to beat Texas
Yeah,
because
that's a big game. That's a big
I think
game.
they're going to slip up one other time. So I think they have to beat Texas.
If they lost to Texas and lost in the SEC championship game, I still think they get in.
I'm not going to lie. I think Texas might win the whole fucking thing. Texas got a
You
good
like
football team this year.
you like Peyton's nephew?
I like Texas's team in general.
I'm
Texas is like my second team that I pay attention to, and this is definitely the best team they've had since that year with Vince Young. Like they are really fucking good.
I'm not so, and maybe think they got to earn their stripes from being in the conference, but they look good so far. But who did they
If they
face last
run through the
game?
conference, then what?
They faced Mississippi State. I
I mean,
gotta
they
see
beat
them.
Alabama last year.
Yeah, it's a new year. We'll see.
Georgia can't do that.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens, how things shake out. Then Georgia beat Alabama though it was a playoff. They got over the hump against them.
Yeah, like 3 years ago. They
That's
ain't beat
still
them
a win.
since though.
A win is a win. But yeah, exciting time in football overall. But let's get into NFL. We got the Buccaneers versus the Dirty Birds team in your area. Wish I could see the odds in this. Looks like ATL is a slight favorite in this. I
I
don't
got the
know.
Bucks.
I don't know if they should be though. Baker Mayfield's
Yeah,
looking damn good.
I got the Bucks. Baker Mayfield's better than
Kirk Cousins.
Kurt. Yeah, you like that? Do they even know that they have Kyle Pitts on their team?
Yeah, like he was supposed to be some like transcendent tight end coming from Florida, and I don't know, man. I don't know,
Do
but
they know they have Bijan Robinson on their team? Because
he's
they don't
supposed to
use
be
either of their top 2 weapons, the
he's
Falcons.
he's supposed to be top tier running back, but he hasn't been used probably to his most full potential. I don't know.
I
I
got
have
the
to ask him.
Bucks.
I got the Bucks as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons pull it out. You know, maybe some momentum carrying, but I'm gonna go with Baker. Next game, our Cowboys. This is a traditional rivalry. AFC, NFC, 70s, going on in the 80s. Excuse me, the 90s as well with that Super Bowl. Cowboys versus the Steelers.
I picked against Dallas 2 weeks in a row now, I think. I'm not picking the Steelers. No, I think I picked the Cowboys to win against the Giants. I take that back.
You did pick the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm not picking the Steelers. I don't give a fuck if Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are out. We're gonna dog walk the Steelers.
I don't want to go that far, but I'm picking the Cowboys as well.
It's gonna be a
No,
double-digit win.
I don't know. I don't feel about Justin Fields quite yet. So is Russell
Went to
Wilson
my high
healed?
school.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, he was in
Yeah,
Atlanta area. Uh,
he went to Harrison High School just like me.
um, because he went to Georgia before transferring to Ohio State. But
Yep.
I was gonna say, is Russell Wilson healed, but he just lost his job?
And there was it ties it into wrestling. There was a meme on NFL Twitter. It said every time Russell Wilson tries to tell them he's healthy, this is what the medical staff does to him. And it was Stone Cold beating the fuck out of Vince McMahon when he was in the hospital.
That's hilarious. Uh,
Russell said, "My ankle feels better." And you see Stone Cold fucking pounding on Vince's ankle, slapping him in the head with a bedpan. Nah, he's still hurt. Also, they're 3-1 with Justin. Just Fields threw for 312 yards last week and ran for 2 touchdowns. Like,
that's impressive. And a
he
loss.
hasn't been the problem, and they're winning. Like, to hell with Russell Wilson.
People try to like retroactively act like Russell wasn't that guy in Seattle just because he had those Broncos years, but that's how people do. They'll build you up just to tear you down. But let's
I
keep it
like
smooth.
Russell Wilson, but Fields is winning right now. He's playing well. Like, why would you?
Yeah, keep the ball rolling. You know, that's what they brought Justin Fields in for, to be competition. So, you know, go with the hot hand. Let's move on to this next one. You got your boy Aaron Rodgers, the Jets versus the Vikings. I got Vikings on this one.
Minnesota's about to be 5-0.
Sam Donald, early MVP favorite. I would have never
Yeah,
thought that. This is
he keeps
like
this shit up. He will be MVP.
I don't know what to compare this to. This is more like almost like a Kurt Warner type story if he does keep on that track, because coming in, I mean, it's not quite parallel because coming in, Donald's supposed to be the next guy, and he kind of his draft stock kind of fell a little bit because like when he was at USC, it was like this is the next guy, and then you know he kind of cooled down, and then when he went, who was he with the Jets? Everybody doesn't do well with the Jets. So that organization is a shit show, but you know sometimes you got to give people time to develop, and so far so good. So. But you know, it's a long season left. He could definitely fall off the cliff. But you got the
Yeah, I
Vikings
think he'll
too.
come back down to earth. It just won't be this week.
Okay, you got the Vikings. I got the Vikings. Next match, next game: Panthers versus Bears. Panthers picking up a win. We both picked against them last week.
They won again?
No, I mean last week we picked against them and they actually won.
So they got 2 wins now.
No, the Panthers 1-3 still.
Okay.
This is the first game.
Give me Andy Dalton, Red Rifle. I think Caleb Williams is shit. I think the Bears are shit. I think the Bears are a shit organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a nice city too. Chicago's like up there with New York as far as like big cities, but can't get their
Really?
football team right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I said really, but when I think about it, I've been in Chicago twice, and I do like Chicago.
Yeah, it's like almost like the New York of the Midwest. I mean, but they just can't get right with their football team. Like you said, I guess it's just a shit organization. But that being said, I'm taking them. Like you said, Coyle Williams, he's going through some growing pains, but you know, he may get there. But next up, divisional rivalry, AFC North, Ravens versus Bengals. Bengals finally getting the
Ravens.
win.
Ravens.
Yeah, I'll go with Ravens as well. They look good. What about Derrick Henry going vintage Derrick Henry with that long ass run?
87 yards.
That's just crazy. Like,
A,
how do you
a
stop that?
motherfucker should not be that big and muscular and tall and still be that fast. Like
I don't get it.
that's a goddamn cheat code.
Yeah, I don't get it, and I don't get how they lost 2 games. I feel like if you have to worry about the threat of him and Jackson running, like how are they not undefeated right now?
I mean, they should have beat Kansas City.
But they didn't.
And then they lost to the Raiders in a game they were up by double digits in the fourth quarter. They just kind of gave it away. And they damn near gave it away against Dallas, too. They were up like 28-6 or something like that. And Dallas came storming back. So they have a problem closing, but yeah, I feel like they're one of the better teams in the NFL record wise, not to be factored into it. Uh, And John Harbaugh always has them playing well, so you can never count out the Ravens.
Next up, the shit bowl. You got the Dolphins versus the Patriots. I got the Patriots in this one.
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins
Really? Why you think they look like shit?
because I think the little drug dealer is coaching for his job.
I don't think he is. Not quite
I
yet.
I think so.
McDaniel.
I think people have misread the situation thinking that McDaniel made Tua. I think Tua made McDaniel.
I don't know. You're right. But next up, got your Browns versus the NFC East leading Washington Commanders. And lo and behold, like I said from the get-go, I said Jaden Daniels might end up being better than Caleb Williams. And I mean, it's still early, super early, but Jaden Daniels looking damn good. And that's why I'm going with the Commanders on this one.
At the end of the day, Washington's still going Washington, and Dan Quinn's still going Dan Quinn. I'll take the Browns.
All right.
Give me Mark Cooper for like $160 and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Put your faith on Deshaun Watson. Next up, I wouldn't say it's a shit bowl, but the Colts are kind of,
They just beat the
shit.
Steelers.
Yeah, just beat the Steelers.
Got Joe Flacco playing quarterback now.
Yeah. Colts versus Jaguars, another divisional matchup.
I got the Colts.
I don't know why I want to pick the Jaguars. They got to win eventually, right?
What are they, 0-4?
Yeah.
Yeah, put them to bed. Colts get this one. Doug Peterson's out of there.
I'm going with the Colts on this one, but I'm not super confident in that pick. Next up, this is a good one. Bills versus Texans. It's a noon game too, or 1:00 your time.
Be noon for me. I'll be in Mexico.
True. I'll go with Texans.
God damn it. I was hoping you were going to pick the Bills because I was going to pick the Texans.
No, I'm picking the Texans on this one.
I think the Bills getting out to 3-0 was kind of like the Ravens getting out to 0-2. Like I think both those teams are going to flip. I don't think the Bills are going to make the playoffs this year. I haven't since the beginning, and I think their age is going to catch up with them. They're one of the oldest teams in football.
You think New York wins that division?
Ooh. I originally thought Miami was going to win it, and they wouldn't, but
they're not winning. Miami is
God damn. Yeah, my whole Bills might not make the playoffs thing might be thrown out the window just because they'll win that division by default.
Well, you make the playoffs. You win the division, you make the playoffs. So.
Yeah. God damn. That fucks my whole thought up.
Man, he said, fuck the Jets too.
Aaron Rodgers is so washed. He was like a fucking old ass man out there running around.
Yeah.
The motherfuckers couldn't beat who'd they play last week?
I can't even remember.
They lost and didn't give up a touchdown and they lost.
And they missed that field goal.
Trash.
Next up, another divisional game, Raiders versus Broncos. I don't even know.
The guy they were playing, the quarterback, he had 7 completions for negative 17 yards, like halfway through the third quarter.
That's awful.
How do you have negative yardage with 7 completions and the Jets still managed to lose that game? The Jets are trash. Sorry. What was the next game?
Raiders versus Broncos, AFC West.
I got the Raiders. The Broncos are hot garbage. Sorry, Joey DeLauren.
I don't think I'll go with Raiders either, but I'll be surprised if Broncos win. Next up, a team that Rucker has a lot of faith in this whole season, but they're 1-3. It's another divisional matchup, Cardinals versus 49ers. Give me 49ers in this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Niners also.
Wow, so you finally given up on the Cardinals? You
No, I
pick them
just
like
think the
every
49ers
week.
are a better football team. I think the Cardinals should have won last week against Washington, but Washington ended up stomping their ass out. But I just think the 49ers are a better team.
So hold on, you said they should have won, but they got stomped out. They should have won
Yeah.
usually means that like you make a
No, I
mistake
didn't
and
think they were close. I thought going into it they should have won. Like
oh,
I thought they would have beat Washington going into it, and Washington just fucking stomped them out.
I'm a little intrigued by Washington kind of coming
Man,
out early.
they'll fall off. Everybody's picking them to win the division. They're not gonna win. They'll
Nah,
win
I don't think they're
they'll
gonna
go
win.
8-9 this year.
As much as I hate the Eagles, I can see them like getting their shit back together. More of a
Eagles are washed.
possibility than I said. More of a possibility than the. I don't know, man.
Hot
This
take:
season goes either way.
Jalen Hurts won't even be the quarterback of the Eagles in 2 years.
I don't know how to take that is. Like as much as the NFL is the not for long league.
And it's
Like,
funny they have all these quarterbacks run through the NFC East that they try to say are better than Dak Prescott, and he always ends up just outlasting all of them. Carson Wentz, Danny Dimes, now Jalen Hurts. Now they got the new kid in there in Washington. Like Dak will be better than him too.
I like Jaden Daniels at LSU. I was following him when he was at Arizona State. I think he may have a little bit of staying power. I'm not saying he's gonna be better than Dak, but I guess we have to see how it shakes out. Definitely better. He'd be probably better than Carson Wentz. I always thought he was overrated, but what I know. Next up, this is a kind of a tough one. Packers versus Rams. Like I always think the Rams are gonna get back on track, but they never do. So I think I'm gonna go with Packers on this one.
I'll get the Rams.
That's another team you've had faith in this season for some reason. I don't know
Well, I
why.
didn't think Puka Nakua and Cooper uh what's my guy's name?
Uh,
Cooper Cup. I
Cooper
didn't think
Cup.
they would be hurt as much as they are. And I thought Stafford would come in with a point to prove this year. But so far, Tutu Atwell's been their number one receiver because the other two guys have been hurt. But I think they'll get back on track this week.
We'll see. Next up, New York Football Giants versus Seattle Seahawks. I got
The
Seattle in this one.
Seahawks. Seahawks.
You said you got the Seahawks too?
Yeah.
Next up, this is Monday night game. The New Orleans Saints kind of cooled off against your defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs Nation this one. I got the Chiefs.
My family's gonna hate me, but I'm picking the Saints.
Hey, you picked against the Chiefs last week too, so I don't know. But I think that's a loud stadium playing. I don't know if the Saints be able to rise to the occasion.
The Saints play in the Superdome.
It's not loud as the Arrowhead.
Are you serious? When the Saints are rolling, that's like one of the loudest stadiums in football.
Yeah, loud for the opponents. They're not gonna be loud when the offense is on the field in the Superdome. But that's it.
Derek Carr's used to playing in Arrowhead, though. He played for the Raiders.
Yeah, they cooled off. Like if they were playing like they did against Dallas for some reason, but they've cooled off. I got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of the picks.
Well, Bad Blood NFL weekend. We got AEW Dynamite's on right now as we speak, EJ. So we got to get up out of here and go finish watching that. But you got anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Nah, just keep supporting us, like I always say, and we'll be back next week to keep the ball rolling. Yeah,
I always want to be like, you got anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here? And I want you to be like, fuck them. But you never do. He's just way more diplomatic than I am. But yeah, like EJ said, thanks everybody for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And until next week, for EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Peace.
really got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude